I talked about this Loomis Chinese example, and I'm going to roll this into a discussion around subsidy versus non-subsidy. Just to reiterate from last week and the week before, this restaurant does not subsidize. So that means that the customer is paying the $7.99 through $10.99 for delivery, but they'd never had their own delivery. They only had pickup in the past. They do not use any third parties at all at this time. So what you would expect would happen is that they would probably get an increase in sales, but they would also cannibalize a little bit of their pickup business because people can get delivery now. So then they're going to look for pickup, they'll find delivery. So as the reopening started and we're getting into July, August, these are the slowest months for ordering typically, the late summer, because people are out and away. They're not at home and not working. But they saw a little bit of an increase in July. I'll walk through the August example through Sunday night in a couple of minutes. So immediately we started to see from zero in June, we started to see delivery in July, and then starting in August, very low numbers. This was very early in the month. About $1,000 in delivery last week and $4,000 in pickup. If I shift to this last Sunday night, this is to Monday, but it's Monday at midnight. There's still a week left in the month, and they're at just over $2,000 in delivery and just over $5,000 in pickup. So they're almost at where they would be for July. So it will increase this month. I got the same slide twice. That's awesome. So right now they're just at, with a week left, at just over $7,000. They're doing about $2,500 a week. So they'll be probably about here. So as you can see, the delivery does help them. In the slower months, they continue to keep the business steady. And they still get the pickup orders that they had in the past. Delivery now is 25% of the total number, the rest being pickup. It is increasing their net sales. And because they didn't use third parties, it is easier to get people to get attached to it because there is no alternative. If there's no alternative, they'll take what they can get to get the convenience of delivery. But what happens if they are already using third parties and there's a comparison? So we suggest they subsidize. Why do you want to subsidize? Because what you're doing is you're trying to give a favorable view to the customer so that they move from the third party to the restaurant directly. Why? So you get all of the food order total. You're not paying the 25 to 35% for that. For that delivery convenience. So the third parties are actually, they discount their delivery fees. It's usually $2 to $5. Your first one is free, and sometimes they'll offer some incentives for the customer. But keep in mind, what they're doing is they're using this 25 to 35% to subsidize this without telling you they're doing that. And in addition, they're charging additional fees to the customer to help subsidize it. So you want to move people over, and for the restaurant themselves, by moving to the model of delivery, they don't have to staff any drivers or pay the associated costs. If you have to staff a driver for delivery, you're probably paying them between, I'm not sure what they make in every state, but probably between $1,000 and $2,000 a month, maybe more in cost. This delivery service is, basically $100, or if you use the entire cost of the system, $200. They get more profit because they get all of the food order total. They get all the customer information versus getting none from the third party. Third party retains it. It is their customer. They're marketing to their customer, marketing all restaurants to their customer, and treating the business as an employee of theirs. And there are no credit card fees. So should restaurants subsidize? Absolutely, 100%, unless they are already increasing prices on the third parties. A lot of restaurants that I've seen are using a 25 to 35% increase in prices to offset some or all of the costs of the third party. Now, they think that that's great for them, but in fact, what they're doing is just lining the pockets of the third party with even more money, and also charging the customers that 30% plus the additional 10% that they have paid. And I'll show that example we have walked through in the past again. So why do they want to subsidize? Again, because they're trying to make the order look at least the same or better than what it looks like for the third party, so they can bring money back to their business. So every time they bring one order back, they earn 20 to 30% more on that order. Same food to the same customer in the same time frame, delivered by probably the exact same person, they make more money. They've created a habit for consumers. This is they meaning the third party. So over COVID was a big caused a big increase in online delivery orders because people were homebound. So what they've done is they have some sort of loyalty to that platform. It's a habit for them. Let's order from DoorDash. You have to break it. Just like let's go to Groupon to get a deal. Break the habit. They take advantage of that habit by keeping the delivery fees low, so it looks like it's cheap, although it's really not, because the business is funding it on one side and the customer is paying high service fees on the other. And they'll offer discounts using the profits from the business on the one side and the consumer on the other. So basically using all the restaurant's profits to fuel their own profits and their own customer base. Let's look at Joe's. So this is the new monthly report, which will be put into production on Fooduyu, branded Mike and Mike tonight. Looks pretty good. So this is the profit analysis for July for Joe's. The food order total was $2,275. He is subsidizing $3 per order. So his cost was $150, right? So if you take the same food order total with a third party, he would have earned $1,593, and with Fooduyu he earned $2,125. So $532 more profit on just 65 orders in a month. No change in the operation of the business, no change in the relationship with the customer, except they now own that customer, and also no change in the delivery experience because it's the same driver. That is a massive change. That is starting from nothing for Joe's. And the average order value was $35. So keep that in mind when we're talking about subsidies. So a $3 subsidy per order earns $532 more profit. So you say, well, if I didn't subsidize, I would have made $150 more. You probably wouldn't have, because the order would have looked worse to the consumer. So let's look at it. Let's look at a $5 subsidy. Let's look at an $8.99 delivery fee on Snaptown Fooduyu versus DoorDash. No increase in the order volume. So what the customer sees on their side is a higher delivery fee, which is better than paying the 15% and the $249 here. So they see that it's beneficial for them to get delivery through DoorDash if they were still using DoorDash. And they see that the order is basically the same. That's actually a bit less on the third party. So they see a big delivery fee. They also see that they're paying a little more than they would pay when they're comparison shopping DoorDash versus Snaptown Fooduyu. So they stick to what they're doing. Because well, I'm saving $1 by going to DoorDash. I'll go to DoorDash because I'll get my DoorDash points. But on the business side, they're getting creamed, because where they would have earned $53.19, right, which is basically the ordered subtotal plus the tax, which you have to pay, they would actually only earn $35 here. So that's an $18 change. So back to Joe, if he chose not to subsidize, that order would have gone to DoorDash and it would have cost him $18 an order versus getting that additional 34% in profit. If the business is increasing their prices, say by 25%, not 30%, right? The $50 order looks higher, no subsidy, but you'll see here that the consumer will see they're paying less on Snaptown Fooduyu. So they'll probably make the move, right? And the business will still have to pay. On the DoorDash side, they still make more on the consumer side here. So in this model, if they don't subsidize, if the consumer's smart enough to look at the total value of the order, right, they'll probably move because they're saving 22% by ordering through the restaurant's own platform, right? And the business will still make a bit of money as well. Win-win. Do you need to subsidize? Maybe not. But what you're relying on is that the customer is not getting thrown off by the delivery fee. We talked about Joe's at $35 per order. if it's a 30% commission at $35 average per order, right? If he subsidized $5, which is a dollar less than my example, he would make $7 more per order at $35, right? At 20% commission, right, he'd earn a bit less, right? It'd be $3 per order, but he still, in all cases, makes more per order. Delivery orders tend to be higher. Let's go to the first example and subsidize $6, which is a lot, and nobody's doing that. Actually, there's one. Judy's is probably going to subsidize $7 because they want to get off of DoorDash fast. So if you're not raising your prices to the on the third parties and you're going flat, it's basically even to even, right? So you put the delivery fee down to the same. Now both services look the same, correct? But we don't charge a large service fee to the customer, so they will see favorable pricing on the order. Everything looks the same, but they pay less. They'll probably move. And the business owner will make more. In this case, $12.19 more, because they're paying that subsidy of $6. So the customer will come direct. So if you're inflating prices, you can say in-restaurant prices and it looks better for the customer, example one. Or if you're going even to even, subsidize, because you're still going to make more money than you would with the third party, right? $47.19 versus $35, and the consumer pays $63 versus $68. And as you increase the orders in value, so that was a $50 order. If I go to a $100 order, it gets even better. The percentages increase because the subsidy is flat. So in this case, they would save 10, and the business would basically earn a significant amount more money, $30 in this case. So that's the math. This is also now in that competitive spreadsheet that I've done. There's a couple tabs at the other end, but that's kind of hopefully the simplification of why you're doing it. It's all optics. Make it look more favorable on the green side versus the red side, and the customer will move. What we're seeing is for pizzerias or restaurants like Joe who's subsidizing, they are getting a higher order volume than the ones that don't. The thought, if I was to look at that, is probably because they're getting thrown off by the fee. If you have multiple options, you choose the cheaper one. That's why people comparison shop, right? They don't care that the restaurant's getting charged 30%. All they care about is that they're getting a better deal. Groupon. I get a better deal on this one, so I'm going to use it. That's what people think. They've been taught to think that way.